हेलो बेटा यहाँ मत जाओ। సార్ షేర్ డెస్క్టాప్ వచ్చింది సార్, మీకు కనబడుతుందా? రైట్ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను సార్. ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఇదే ఇందులో వీడియోలో ఉంది సార్, చాట్లోకి వచ్చింది సార్, వచ్చింది చాట్ బ్లింక్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే రైట్ సార్, ఇది స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం. Yes. Good morning, students. Today we are going to speak about the basic communication skills. Why communication skills are very important. So when we talk about communication skills, why is it important? Where do we really use it? Why it is required? Okay. Let's take into the point of interview as on today, as you are all students, you will be going for an interview. So in the interview, we will be having a very important skill which has to be exhibited in front of the HR manager. So the HR manager will ask us questions. So when he asks us questions, we have to understand the question and we need to answer. So when we are answering the question, first thing is that we need to understand the question. So we will talk about this process today. In this process, we will first talk about what is communication skill, okay, and what is the importance of communication skill when it comes to our interviews. So this is what we are going to discuss about. When we talk about communication in English language, we have more than 1 million words. So we have a lot of words. So what are the words we have to use when we are going for an interview? That's more important. You cannot talk in a ordinary language. You have to use a formal language, which we generally call it as a business language or a business communication skill. When we talk in front of HR manager, he doesn't understand the normal language. We cannot talk to a HR manager as we are talking to a friend. We have to use a formal language. So when we talk about the communication consists of 3 important parameters. So what are the 3 important parameters when we talk about the communication skill is very, very important. As I told you, the words we use. When we talk about communication, there are 7% of words which come under this communication. Rest, when we talk about 38% is the tone. Actually 38% is the tone. So when we talk about the tone, it talks about the voice modulation, it talks about the pauses, and 55% is the body language, your movements, your arm movements, your body gesture, the way you sit, all these things constitute. So when all these 3 things map together, then we can see a proper communication skills. The first thing is, as I told you, 7% is of the words you choose when you speak to the HR manager, right? So when you are speaking to the HR manager, the number of words we use is 7%. So now let's take an example. Okay, for example, you are introducing yourself. Okay. The first favorite question of the HR manager, to break the ice, he will ask you a very simple question. Please introduce yourself, or can you tell me something about yourself? So when this question is asked, we have to have a proper preparation and we have to have a proper script to tell him about ourselves, and this has to be properly practiced with the proper words which I am saying, that is 7%. Apart from that, once the script is ready, when you are talking, you should have a polite and a gentle voice when you are expressing something. Okay, you cannot be like a statue and you can tell your name. Okay, you have to show some expression on your face that you're really happy to tell about yourself. So when you are telling about yourself, let's take the first point, which is called your name. For example, the HR manager has asked you, tell me something about yourself. So when it comes to communication, the first thing generally we use is the name. Okay, when we talk about the name, okay. So when we are talking about the name, okay, how do you tell your name? Okay. So when you're telling your name, for example, if you have started like saying, I am, okay, I am Sham, for example, I am Sham. Okay. So people say this in a different way. Students use it in a different way by saying myself Sham. Okay. And also they say something like saying like, okay, this is Sham. Okay. They also say like saying, okay, I am Sham. This is Sam. Myself Sham, or they always use or they use another word which is called as my name is Sham. So there are different ways of saying it, but everything is correct. But we need to understand where to use these things in communication. So first thing, we'll choose the right word. So when we talk to the HR manager or when we are introducing yourself, the right format to be used is my name is Sham. When we say this, okay, why do we say my name is? Why don't we use I am or this is or myself? We have to understand it first. Okay. So now you're telling your name. He asked you about yourself. So the first thing you're going to tell is what is my name. So when you're telling what is my name, as per the communication, the first thing is we need to choose the right words. So when we are choosing the right words, why do we use my name is? Why don't we use I am or this is or myself? For example, when we are constructing a sentence, okay, it has to always come by the name, okay, the proper thing. When we are using constructing a sentence, you will use with I only. But here we will use my. Why we are using my over here is my is the name belongs to yourself. You are the owner of the name. That's the reason you say my name is. So when you're saying my name is, you need not directly say that like like saying that my name is Sham. Don't run. Now we'll concentrate on the next parameter, that is the voice. How your voice is. When you say it, you say like this. My name is Sham. How do you say? My name is Sham. Don't rush up like saying my name is Sham. Here the important, when you talk about the voice, the most important thing is the tone, the pitch, the voice modulation, the intonation. How do you raise it? What is the important word in the sentence? The important word in the sentence is your name. That's the reason you have to stretch your name. My name is will be the nominal thing. For example, my name is Sham. My name is Sham. That's how you say it. Okay. So once you are done with the name, you have covered you have chosen the appropriate word. You have also chosen the way how to say it, that is your voice. The third important thing is your facial expression. How do you really say your name? Okay. So this is very, very important for you. For example, let's take another word, another sentence. After that you say by saying, where are you from? That's the next thing you will say. Where are you? I am from Visakhapatnam. Or you say, I am coming from Visakhapatnam. Or I live in Visakhapatnam. Or I stay in Visakhapatnam. Yes, all these things can be done. It's normal. You can say this. But before we go to this, let's have a little bit clarification on the introduction. My name is. So how do you say this? Why you are supposed not to say myself? You say myself, Sham. Myself cannot be used in a sentence because myself is a reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronoun cannot be used as a subject. For example, I did it myself. You can say. For example, I am Sham. Yes, you can say this. I am Sham. You will say this in the in an informal introduction. If you are expressing something, you can normally casually say, I am Sham. It's okay, but not in front of the HR manager. Okay, you will say it as my name is Sham. Next, we also use one word. This is Sham. This is Sham is also the right one, but where do we use it is more important. Where do we use this? For example, you are introducing someone to someone. You are introducing someone to somebody. So then you say, this is Shyam, Shyam, Mohan. That's how you say. This is Shyam. We can use this, but you should know where you have to use this is Shyam. That's more important, right? So let's take the other word. For example, where are you coming from? Normally we say I am coming from Vijayanagaram, or I'm coming from this place, or I live in this place. All is some students also say I hail from. Very good. I hail from is also very good. But you should know, as I told you, when you're talking to HR manager, you have to use the right words. How do you use the right words is more important. How we use it. Okay. So when you are using this right words, let's take a word called. You say, for example, I'm coming from Visakhapatnam. When you say my name is Shyam, I am coming from Visakhapatnam. When you say I am coming from Visakhapatnam, it's okay. That's the right statement. But still, we will find out the exact 7% of the words which have to be used over here. That's the first important point in the communication. The words you use in front of the HR manager. So when you say I am coming from Visakhapatnam, this can be used, but where it can be used, then that we will figure out today. So when we are saying I am coming from, for example, you are standing in front of the college. The watchman asks you, where are you from? Then what you will say? You'll say, I am from Visakhapatnam. Then he'll say, what can I do? There you will say, then you will say, I am coming from your college name. For example, I am coming from Chaitanya Degree College. There you use I am coming from. Okay. For example, you say I am from. Okay, the place from where you are coming, there we use I am from. But here now, what do you use in a, or what do you say when you are talking in the interview? This, again, the 7% of words we will concentrate on. What is the right word to be used over here? For example, if you are using that word, we will use the right word like I reside at Visakhapatnam. Clear? I reside at Visakhapatnam. So when you use this word, I reside at Visakhapatnam. Now let's figure out what is this word reside. You would have already come across this word. So now we will understand what this word reside is. As I told, 7% is the most important word. So here we will come to know what this reside is exactly all about. Reside is a verb which comes from a noun called residence. That's the reason we say residential address. That's the reason now here we say, we will not say I am from, or I am coming from, or I hail from. We use hail is the place where you are born and brought up. So for the interview point of view, the most important thing over here is where are you coming from? Okay, yeah, you have to say where are you from. So now in this you will say I reside at Vijayanagaram. Are we clear on this? Are you getting my point? Okay. So here we will say I am from Vijayanagaram. We will not use this word. We will say I reside at Vijayanagaram. This is the right word what we use. So when we talk about communication skill, what generally we use is, what is communication skill? Or what is good communication skills? We say, right, the HR manager wants the candidate to have good communication skills. So what is this good communication skills? Good communication skills is nothing but using the right word at the right time. You should know what is the exact word you have to use with the proper tone and an appropriate or a correct body language. That's more important than you say, right? So here today we have learned about what is communication skills. In communication skills, when we are talking to the HR manager, what are the important things we need to take care of? The important things is the words you choose when you speak to him, okay, or when you are talking to him. The second thing, the most important thing is your tone. Very, very important. The tone should not be flat. The tone has to be, it has to go as per the modulation. What you are saying, okay, my name is Shyam. My name is Shyam. That's how you, because Shyam is the important word over there where you need to stress it. Clear? So now today, after this communication, okay, so we have learned the most important thing in the communication is the choosing of, or we have to choose words. After choosing the right words, you need to take care about your voice, how to say this. So after your voice, the most important thing is the body language. You can use your eyebrows, or when you say my name is Shyam. My name is Shyam. Okay. So this is how you need to say it in a pleasant way so that it will be very easy, or it will be easy for the person to understand what you want to exactly say. Tone is flat. It will be boring for him after some time. So how you will think, okay. So after that, the body language, how you say it, using your gestures. You can use your hands when you want to explain something with your words. That's how you do in a communication. So in this, now it will be a challenging part for many students, how to say this thing, how to say this self-introduction, okay, how to introduce yourself, or what we have to speak to the HR. For all this, the most important thing is you should know the script, what to say is more important. Without knowing what to say, you cannot just go in front of the HR manager and speak, as you are not a native speaker, or your mother tongue is not English. So you cannot directly go and sit and talk. Or sometimes you will not have answers, or you might not know the answer for the question, or you might sometimes hear this question for the first time and you don't know what to say. So when you want to communicate, you exactly know what is the question and what is the answer for which you have to answer. Right? For example, let's take an example. For example, let's take in this way. He has asked you a general question. When you go for an interview, they'll ask you, what is your expected salary, for example. And you say, what is your expected salary? Normally we say like 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, right? So now we need to understand there is nothing wrong in asking that. But can we still use a better word as per the communication? That's more important. Can we really do this? It's more important. Can we really say this? Is more important, because one wrong word will spoil the entire communication. You have to use a polite words, you have to use a soft word, or you need to use the right word by which he is impressed. For example, if he is asking you what is your expected salary, now you can say in this way, my expected salary is 10,000. That's what generally students say. Now when we are saying this, my expected salary is 10,000 rupees, for example, it's not wrong, but let's use a little bit common sense over here. When you have not drawn 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees, how can you say to him that I want this? The figure of the salary can be quoted by experienced persons, not the freshers who are going for the first salary. So how to say this? Now again we'll come back to the percentage. 7% of the words with a proper tone and a body language. How to answer this question? Now when we are answering this question, we will say that I am glad to work as per the company norms, or you can say this in a different way. I am glad to work as per the industry standards. Sir, I am ready to work as per your company norms. What your company is going to pay me for the first time, I am ready to work for it, or I am ready to work as per the industry standards. What the industry is paying for a fresher, I am ready to work for that salary. But when you say the figure, like something 10,000, 20,000, okay, in one point or the other way, either you might be degrading yourself by asking a less salary, or you might be asking him a more salary for which you are not really eligible. So in that way, you might lose your job by using a wrong word at the right time. So when you say this, sir, I am ready to work as per the company norms, you are also saying that, sir, I am an obedient person. I will work as per your company's expectations or as per the salary you have set, because you are not an experienced guy to ask him the salary. So when you are going for a job for the first time, yeah, we will ask for the basic minimum salary what a company can pay, and we have to work for that salary first. And salary is directly proportional to the skill set you have. You have proper skills. As per your skills, the company will pay you a salary. So we need to develop these skills. That is called communication skills to crack an interview, because after writing a written test, after giving a technical round, okay, of written test, there will be a HR round. In the HR round, okay, you have to talk to the HR manager. The HR round can be technical. When you're talking about a technical interview, when he is asking you a question, for example, let's take, he is asking a question on what about C language. For example, he is asking you what is an array or what is a pointer. Here we have to be very specific with the answer. You cannot explain it in your own words. When it's a technical question, you have to exactly answer it to the point. You cannot exaggerate, or you cannot blabber, or you cannot tell it in your own words. You need to say exactly what an array is or what a pointer is. Okay. General questions, for example, when we are asked these questions in communication, there are two types of questions actually. One is an open-ended question and one is a close-ended question. In communication, we need to understand open-ended question, we require an elaboration. For a close-ended question, you don't require any elaboration in communication. For example, let's take a close-ended question. Are you willing to relocate? Now, the answer for this, you can say yes or you can say no. Okay. You need not elaborate this. Okay. For example, he has asked you, what have you done in your project, for example, or where have you done your internship, for example. Now here you have to give a open answer. Then we cannot say this in one word. You will give an open answer about the detail of your internship or the detail of your project. So here the answer will not be in one word. The answer will be in 2 to 3 sentences. What exactly you have done. Are we clear on this? So here after this, okay, after getting this, now what we have to do here is we need to understand the type of question in communication. Whether for that can we say it in one word or we need to give a detailed or a proper explanation. That's more important in this. Okay. So again, when we are talking about this communication, the first and the foremost thing important here is the words you choose, followed by the proper tone, okay, your voice, which has to be audible, followed by your proper body language. That's more important in this case when you're talking about a communication, right? So today we have learned, okay, what is communication? What is the right communication? The right communication is nothing but using the right words as per the situation. Okay. Second thing, what we have learned is in this communication, what are the parts we have? Okay, one is the usage of the words, which is 7%, followed by your body language, okay, 32%, followed by your, okay, 32% is your voice, followed by your body language, which is 55%, the most important thing. Okay. So when all these three things map together, then it will be very easy and impressive for a person to hear this. Okay. Now we have a question. Generally, why are people successful? Why people reach to the position of a manager or a project manager or a CEO? Okay, why people really go? It is clearly stated as per the research, 80 or we can say 85% of the successful people have reached because they have a good communication skills. Normally people who have 85% of the people are successful because they have good communication skills. And when we take about the 15%, people are successful because they have a good technical knowledge. Okay. So when you have the technical knowledge and the communication skill, it is very clear that you are sure shot 100% successful. For example, if you are having a technical knowledge and you cannot express the technical knowledge, what is the use of the technical knowledge? For example, I am expressing you about an engine, what an engine is all about. If I am not able to express what an engine, then what is the use of the knowledge I have about an engine when I am not able to explain that? That's more in the right word so that it will be understood by the audience who are sitting in front of me. That's more important, right? So when we are talking about this, now generally there will be a challenge for the students to speak in English. Sir, I am from a Telugu medium background. How can I speak English? Sir, I don't have anybody to speak with me in English. Okay. Or there's a lot of reasons. Sir, I feel shy or I feel fear to speak in English. So understand, my dear students, if you want to be successful in any interview, whether it may be a private job, it may be government job, semi-government, defense, whatever it may be, you have to go through a round called the HR round. You need to meet the HR manager after clearing the written test. So here, many students fail in the interview because due to the lack of communications, poor communication skills. They don't know exactly what to say. So now there is one more challenge over here. Now students, sir, how can I speak in English without doing a mistake? So if that's the case, now whenever we make a sentence or whenever you speak in English, always try to speak in a simple or a simpler sentence, or try to make a simple language. No, you don't use a more complicated language. Always try to speak in a simple language so that the other person can easily understand. Okay. For example, we talk about the communication. I am talking to you. I am the sender, okay, and you are the receiver. I am the sender. I am talking to you, and you are receiving my message. In between, we have something called a medium. What is that medium? The medium is nothing but how you are able to listen to me. You are able to listen to me through a technology. There is a technology in between both of us. Okay, this is called a medium. Sender, medium, and receiver. Right. So the medium is very, very important. Now we are talking. We are going on a webinar actually. It's a web class. It's a webinar. It's an online class. So I'm talking to you. You are listening to me. So when we both are able to understand each other through a medium, that is called the technology, which plays a vital role over here. So now let's assume when you are sitting in front of the HR manager, you don't have any technology, right? You are the sender and he is the receiver. When he asks you a question, he is the sender and you are the receiver. And once you receive it, you give a feedback. And that means you answer to that particular question. So here in the middle of this medium, we have something called the voice, which is going down. The HR manager can only understand you if you have a proper voice. Voice is more important here. The medium, the middle thing, which is connecting you and the sender and the receiver, is the voice only. If your voice is audible, he can understand. If the voice is not audible, he cannot understand you, right? So here when you talk about a communication skill can be in any language. It can be in any language. The language can be English, the language can be Hindi, or the language can be Telugu. Excuse me. The language can be Hindi, the language can be Telugu, or it can be any language when you speak. So here today we'll talk about the most important thing. When we're talking to the HR manager, the HR manager will only understand English. So English is the language which we are using for communication. So how to really develop this English? As we say, when we want to speak, the first thing is you have to be a very good listener. You have to listen to the correct English. That's more important when you speak. It's not what you want to speak. You have to speak the right English. That's more important. So when we are speaking this English, let's take an example. For example, you ask me a question, sir, where can I, listen to the right English, or where can I listen to the right language. So when you're talking about where can I listen to the right language, here it plays a very important role. Where can I listen to the right language? When you're talking about where can I listen to the right language, the answer is very quite simple. Where do you listen to it? So there are many things or many places where you can listen to this right English. For example, let's take a point where you can listen to this right English. Let's take you have something called an let's take news. The most important thing. Today you want to be intelligent or today you want to have some knowledge. You have to be updated. You have to keep yourself updated. What is happening? So what we can do is we can watch news. Let's take a news channel. Or let's take NDTV. What TV? NDTV. Take an NDTV. Go to the NDTV channel. Listen to some headlines. Or what is happening in the country? Or what is happening in your state? Okay. Now here, what really happens when you listen? There are two advantages. One, you will have a knowledge and you will be updated what is happening in the country. Second thing, what you really learn over here is, you learn a very important thing. How do they say this in the right words? How do they communicate? How do they pass a message what they want to say really? That's more important. So if you want to learn English, first you have to listen to English. There is a very nice saying. If you want to become a good speaker, you have to be a very good listener. Clear? If you want to be a very good speaker, you have to be a very good listener. You have to listen first. Before speaking, you have to listen first. Because there is also a saying that, a wise man listens. Okay, a wise man listens. He first listens. Normally in a communication, many people think that communication is just talking. Communication is not talking. Communication means listening. First listen. Listen what the other person is saying. Or listen what the other person wants from you. Normally what people say is, people always, they don't listen to the speaker. They are more keen in saying what they want to say. What they feel, rather than thinking what we should answer. Okay. So to improve your communication skills, the first thing is that you need to listen to the right English. Okay. You should know the right language, how it can be spoken. That's more important. How we can speak. Let's take for example, how can we speak? Okay. It's very, very important. How can we speak? Okay. So first we will listen. Let's take an example. I hope many of the students might have, or you have visited a railway station. So when you have visited a railway station, there will be an announcement when the train is late. Okay. You would have listened to the announcement. So when the train is delayed, how will they announce? For example, in Telugu, what they say, asaukaryaniki chintistunnaamu. Or in Hindi, they say, asuvida ke liye khed hai. Or they say, what do they say in English? The same word. The translation of this sentence. The right word here, as per the communication, 7%, the right words, what we have to use. So unless and until you listen to that, you will not be able to express or to say how to say it correctly. That's more important. How to say it correctly. So how to say this? అసౌకర్యానికి చింతిస్తున్నాం అన్నదాన్ని ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఎలా చెప్పగలం కరెక్ట్గా అంటే, అది మనం ఇంగ్లీష్లో విని ఉండాలి. యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ లిసన్ టు ఇట్, రైట్? ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ నాట్ లిసన్డ్, you cannot say. So to speak, you have to listen properly. Okay. What the other person is saying, that's more important. So when we talk about what the other person is saying, how we have to say it. Okay. For example, we can say in this way. How do they say it in English correctly? This is again, this is not an informal English or general English. This is something called a business English, where they use the business terms to say this, because that's an official announcement. That's not a ordinary announcement. You are not talking to your friend, you're talking to the passengers. So the message has to be correct. Again, here comes the 7% of words what you are trying to say. The 7% of words what you're trying to use. Okay, for this, how do they say in English is very clear. I'll tell you how they say in English. You would have listened it in the railway station. If you can recollect it, okay, it is very simple. The inconvenience caused is deeply regretted. What is the word? The inconvenience caused is deeply regretted. When you say the inconvenience caused is deeply regretted, it is very clear. Okay. Here, regretted, regret is a business word. They will never say, we are sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry is a general term. Here they use a business term, business English, regret. For example, we can use this same word, regret again. Let's make another sentence out of this word. I regret for coming late. Or we can say, in a perfect word, we regret for the delay. Not late, delay. Delay is a business word we use in a business communication. Okay. So when we are talking, we have to first choose the words properly. Are we using the right word? In English, we have two things which is called antonyms and synonyms. Antonyms are very easy. Okay, they are like, they have only one meaning. Good, opposite is bad. That's it. But the same word we take as a synonym. One word has different meanings, different types of words which are similar to each other. And synonyms are nothing but similar words, not same words. Similar words. There are similar words when we use. There are similar words. For example, let's say, what are you doing now? Are you seeing me? Are you seeing me? Or are you looking at me? Okay. Or are you just staring at me? What are you doing now? You are watching. You are not seeing me. You are watching. Watch, for example. I watched a movie last night. When you say watch deals with both your audio and your video, your eyes. Okay, audio and video, right? So for this we use the word watch. Okay, so when you are using a word, you should know that can I use that word at that particular place. If you understand this, your communication will be good. If you don't understand this, you will be using a normal word, right? So here we need to use the right word. Now again coming to the point, okay. First I have told you how can you improve your English. So how can we improve English? By watching, by listening. First thing is listening. Listen to the right English and try to make simple sentence. So when we are speaking in English, we use normally a 6 structures to frame sentences. For example, let's take this in this way. To speak English, when we make a sentence, what is the most important thing in that sentence? Can you tell me? What is the most important thing in the sentence? Anybody? The most important thing here in the sentence is the verb. If you know the verb form, it is very easy for you to make a sentence. If you don't know the verb form, it is not easy for you. You will use the same word. For example, let's take a word called cut. That's the word cut. For example, when we take the word, okay, it is something like cut, cut, cut. Same verb for all the 3 forms: present, past, okay, present, okay, past, okay. That's we use. Let's take a word called put. For put, we have the same word. Put, put. If you know this form, you can see. You can make sentences. The 6 format sentences when we speak. Let's take for example, there is something called read. Let's take a word called read. We say, right, read, read, little, about the verb. Let's take a verb which changes. They are not the same. For example, catch, caught, caught. The same. Catch, caught, caught. Let's take one more word. For example, let's take a word eat. Here it is little bit. Okay. Eat, ate, eaten, eating. How can we make sentences when you are communicating here? How can you make sentences like this? Eat, ate, and eaten. Okay. So for example, when you say, so for this you should know the verb form. Let's take for example, can you tell the verb form for swim? If you want to talk, swim is swim, swam, and swum. Yes, swim, swam, and swum. When you are saying swim, swam, swum, here you have to be a little bit careful. How to make a sentence with this swim, swam, and swum. Okay, when you're talking about swim, swam, swum, okay, let's make it very easy. Okay, swim, swam, swum. How to make sentences when we speak. So it's very simple. We make very simple sentences over here. For example, like let's say, for first one sentence, I swim in the river. Okay, how you make sentences when you speak? Simple sentence. I swam in the river. Okay. I have swum in the river. Okay. I am swimming in the river. Okay. I have to swim in the river. Okay. The last thing is I will swim in the river. Right. This is what generally we use sentences when we speak. This is what is sentences generally we use when we speak. Okay. I swim in the river. I swam in the river. Okay. I have swum in the river. Okay. I am swimming in the river. Okay. Okay. I have to swim in the river. I will swim in the river. This is what is the generally we use when we speak. Right. Let's take a word called ate. Okay. Ate for example. Eat, ate, eaten, eating. Okay. For example, I eat idli. I ate idli. I have eaten idli. I am eating idli. I have to eat idli. I will eat idli. This is what the sentences you make. You will never say, for example, I will have been eating idli tomorrow. Not required. I will have been eating idli tomorrow is not. You can say, I will eat idli tomorrow. It's more than enough for the other person to understand that you will eat idli tomorrow. I ate idli. I have, that means nenu idli tinesanu. So here what we understand now is, to speak English, you have to first understand the verbs, the form of verbs, how to say this. Do you know the verbs? For example, let's take a verb called drive. When you take this word drive, drive, drove, driven, driving. If you know this, you can speak English. What you have to do? You use the subject I. First talk about I, because mostly we speak about ourselves. I. Okay. When you speak about I, okay, it's very easy. I. When you use the word I format. Okay. You use I. Okay. Followed by the helping verb. We either use is, am, are. Followed by the verb and the object. That's how you make a thing. For example, I eat idli. I ate idli. I am eating idli. Okay. I eat idli. I ate idli. I have eaten idli. I am eating idli. I have to eat idli. That's what you say. And I will eat idli. That's it. 6 sentences. This is how you speak. So in order to improve your English or in order to improve your communication skill, the foremost important thing required for you is to understand the verb format, the forms of verbs. How many forms it will be changing when you make sentences. If not, you will use the same verb for present, past, continuous, okay, or infinite or future. You will be using the same thing for everything and your sentence will become wrong. So what is the use of speaking the wrong language? So it is always better to know about the verb forms and speak the right language. That's more important. Right? So today what you can do, just do a little exercise or a homework. Okay. So whatever I have said, you can just practice in the simple sentences. They are like tables. For example, I ask you what is 144. Say 12 into 12 is 144. I ask you what is 13 into 13. You say 13 into 13 is 168. How do you remember this? So you tell so fast because it is in your memory. So here when you want to speak English, the sentence pattern should be in your memory. That's more important. The sentence pattern should be in your memory. What is the sentence? It is like a drill actually. You have to do it like a drill. When you do it like a drill, you will never forget the sentence. It comes automatically out of your mouth when you want to speak. For example, like say, okay, I want to eat idli. For example, I eat idli. Okay, okay. I ate idli. Right. I have eaten idli. I am eating idli. I have to eat idli. I will eat idli. So really now when you talk about the communication skill, the language you use is English. When you are using this language English, you should understand the sentence format. The sentence format is more important. How can I really use this sentence? Or how can I make sentence? That's more important. So there are two exercises you have to do. First thing is listen to the right English. When you listen to the news, for example, like an NDTV channel, if you are listening to the news, the first and the foremost thing you will understand is the pronunciation. How to pronounce or how to pronounce that particular word. You will understand what is called pronunciation. That's more important. Okay. So you cannot speak English or you cannot say it in your type of pronunciation. You have to know the exact or understand the right pronunciation. To understand the right pronunciation, you have to listen first. Listen to that particular word, how it is being said. That's more important. How it has been said to you. Once you understand how it has been said to you, it becomes very easy for you to spell or to speak that particular. Because you have already listened to it. You know how to say that. So this becomes more easy for you to how to say this. How can I say this? It becomes really easy for you. You understand? So this is how you do it. This is how you do this. Okay. So when you're doing this, this is more important. How do you say this or how do you do this? Right? So here we will talk about the sentence structure. How to do this. So this is the practice you have to do. Let's take one more example. You want to say something which you know. You want to say something which you know. Let's take for example, you want to tell a story. You want to tell a story. So how can you say this story? Let's take for example, you want to tell about a story, a simple story, which is called a thirsty crow. You want to tell about a simple story, which is called a thirsty crow. When you're talking about this thirsty crow story, okay, the most important thing is how to say this story. You all know it in English, how to say this, right? You all know it in Telugu, for example. How to say this in Telugu? Okay. అనగనగా ఒక కాకి ఉన్నది, ఆకాశంలో ఎగురుతుండగా దానికి దాహం వేసింది. దాహం వేసిన తర్వాత దానికి ఒక కుండ కనిపించింది. ఆ కుండలో నీళ్లు చాలా లోతుగా ఉన్నందున ఎలాగ ఈ నీళ్ళు తాగాలన్నప్పుడు ఒక ఉపాయం తోచింది. పక్కనున్న గులకరాలను తీసుకొని ఒక్కొక్కటిగా కుండలో వేయడం చేసింది. కుండలో వేసిన తర్వాత నీళ్లు పైకి వచ్చింది. వచ్చిన నీళ్ళని తాగి తన దాహాన్ని తీర్చుకొని కాకి ఎగిరిపోయింది. This is what you say, right? So here, when you're saying this, right? When you're saying this, now the challenge is how to say this in English. That's more important. How to say this in English. So here, always understand, stories are always in simple past because story has already happened. Story has already happened. So you cannot use a present tense over here in communication. So how to say this story? I'll tell you today. You can also practice different stories, okay, so that you will understand. Always listen to story or listen to a cartoon or listen to a story because they use simple sentences with nice expression. In English or in communication, expression is very important when you speak. You cannot be like a robot like this, like what I want to say is, you can't say like that. You have to use an expression when you speak. That's more important. So how to say this story in English? It's very simple. Okay, let's make it this way. It was a hot sunny day. The crow was thirsty, searching for water here and there. The crow was fast. At last, it found a pot with a little water in it. Suddenly, an idea struck. The crow started putting the pebbles, which were around the pot, one by one. The water came up. The crow drank the water and flew away. Simple. Whatever the sentence I have used, if you can recollect it, they're all in past tense because story has already happened, right? So here you have to know what is the type of verb you have to use when you are speaking, right? So for that you have to understand the pattern, how to say this, okay? How we can say this is more important. Sometimes people understand by your body language what you want to really say, but sometimes people don't understand it. Body language is very important when you say. By expressions, they will understand really what you want to say. By your voice, they will come to know you are telling honesty, your confidence, okay, you don't know the answer. It all depends on your voice, how you say this. That's more important. The voice plays a very vital role over here when you say something. Okay. Voice is very important when you say something. If you don't have a proper voice, you cannot say. So to know what is the voice you have to use, what are the words you have to use, the best thing is listen to the right English. The news channel NDTV, for example, will give you the right language, neutral English, correct pronunciation. Apart from pronunciation, apart from understanding how to make a sentence, you will also understand what is the right language which has to be used over here. That's more important. The usage of right language is more important. How can you use a right language? That's what communication skills says. That's what the subject today we are discussing. What is communication skills? What is good communication skills? Using the right words at the right time is called as good communication skills. So to speak fluently in English, what is the first thing you have to do? First point, listen to the language. Listen to the right language, right, correct English. Second thing, know the verb forms. Know the verb forms. When you know the verb forms, you have to practice making sentences. You have to practice making sentences. You should know how to make a sentence. That's more important. How can we make sentences? So in communication skills, we need to take care of three important things. What are the three important things? The first thing is the words you would like to choose, right? After choosing the words, you have to frame the sentences. Once you frame the sentence, the most important thing is your voice, how you are saying this. Okay. After saying this, simultaneously, what is the body language I have to use when I say this? How to say this? For example, how will you come to know it's a good news or a bad news? By the tone and the body language. If someone has, if it's a death actually, People will say in a very mild tone, yes, he died. He died last night. They will never say in excitement, oh, he died last night. How will you say this? For example, you have cleared the interview. They asked you, what happened? You will not say, yes, I cleared the interview. You will not say in a very dull voice. It's a happy news. Right? You say, yes, I have cleared the interview. Yeah, I got selected. So here the words are the same, but the tone and the body language here is more important when you say something. That's what is communication all about. See, that's what, right? See, you watch movies, you watch someone speaking to you. Now, why you watch? Let's assume why you like a cartoon. Let's take a cartoon, Tom and Jerry. Why people like Tom and Jerry? There is no voice over there, but still people like Tom and Jerry because Tom and Jerry has a lot of action, body language. You can laugh. Let's take Mr. Bean. Why you like Mr. Bean? Because Mr. Bean doesn't speak. Mr. Bean uses a perfect body language which can make you laugh. So the most important thing in communication is the body language. The body language is very, very important. When you have a body language, you need not speak also. Mono show. Why people love Charlie Chaplin around the world? Why Charlie Chaplin is very famous? Charlie Chaplin doesn't speak. He does it with his body language. People will understand what he's trying to say. Or Mr. Bean. Right? Why people like Tom and Jerry? Tom and Jerry has a very quick, body language. The eyes, the expressions. Okay. So when you're talking about communication over here, the three things are very, very important. If you're having a dialogue, because in front of the HR manager, we have a dialogue. We don't have a body language action. So when we're talking about dialogue, the most important thing is the words you choose to speak in front of the HR manager. After the words, your tone, very, very important. You cannot be, too low or you cannot be too high. A mild tone, a proper audible voice to the HR manager is more important. So once after this thing, after the voice, the important thing is your body language. Showing that, sir, I am interested for the interview. I am happy to say about myself. I cannot like just say, my name is Sham, I am coming from Vijayanagaram, I completed my degree and my hobbies are not say like that. Don't be monotonous. Don't be neutral. Nicely. Okay. My name is Sham. I am coming from what other place or to say. As I taught you today, I reside at Vijayanagaram. Right? Say it nicely. Okay. Say it nicely. In the next sessions of communications, we'll come to know how to introduce yourself and all. Okay. Today, what is the basic thing what we have learned is what is communication. What is good communication? Using the right words at the right time. Okay. Not by just saying anything. So when you communicate, the person has to understand, and when the person understands, you would also try to say what he wants to listen. That's more important actually. It's not what you want to say, what he wants to listen. You want to, win. Okay. You should talk as per the HR manager's expectations. That's more important. For example, he asks you, what is your ambition? You say, my ambition is to become a singer. For example, you say you are very open from your heart. You spoke what you wanted to say. Sir, I want to become a singer. Will he hire you? Did you apply for the post of a singer? No, right? Why will you say I want to become a singer? You say something related to the job, no? Okay. Something related to the job. For example, you have applied for a manufacturing unit. You say, sir, my ambition is to make a career in a manufacturing unit. I want to learn about manufacturing. I want to know about the details of different types of manufacturing process. He will be happy. If you say, sir, I want to do a government job. When you are applied for a private job, you are saying in front of the HR manager, sir, I want to do a government job. There is nothing wrong in doing a government job. But can we use that word over there? That's more important. That's not a wrong sentence. But is the sentence required over there? That's more important. That's very, very important. Is the sentence required over there? Do we really want that sentence to be spoken at that point of time? That's more important. Okay. So when we are dealing with these things, okay. So today you have learned what are the important component. What are the things, important components of the communication process? The words, very, very important. When you know the words, you have to frame the sentences properly. After framing the sentence, how to present that words very nicely. How to present it in a very presentable way. That's word, right? So words followed by the tone, proper tone, followed by the body language. These are more important when we speak. Now, if you want to improve your English skills, spoken skills, you should know the verb forms. After knowing the verb forms, the most important thing after knowing the verb forms, how to construct simple sentences. As I told you, let's make simple sentences. I eat idli. I ate idli. I have eaten idli. I am eating idli. Okay. I have to eat idli. I will eat idli. That's it. That's what you say. Nothing more than that. Right? First, try to speak in simple sentences. And you cannot speak this language in one day. You have to practice. It depends from person to person. Right? One person can learn fast, one person can learn slow. As per your pace, you should increase the hours of practice. Okay? Take any topic, for example. Let's take about a cow, for example. You want to say some 5 sentences about a cow. Okay? Say, for example, you can say like this also. Cow is a domestic animal. Cow is a mammal. Okay? Right? You can also say cow is worshipped by Hindus. Okay? The byproducts of cow milk are, okay, you can say butter, ghee, etc. You can also say that, normally we use the word called cow eats grass. Generally we use the word cow eats grass. You can still say it in a better way. You can still say cow is a herbivorous animal. It will be very nice to present. Rather than saying cow eats grass, normally 90% people say this, cow eats grass. But if you put the word in this way, cow is a herbivorous animal, people will say, oh wow, yeah, herbivorous. Lion is a carnivorous animal. Or you can say sentences like this. Cow, you can use this sentence also. Okay, you can say, the cow dung is used as a natural fertilizer. The urine of cow is used in Ayurveda. Right? With cow dung, we make gobar gas. We get gobar gas from cow dung. The byproducts of milk are, as I said, you say from milk we get cheese, butter. We can still make the sentence better by saying the byproducts of milk are. What is a byproduct? From that product we extract other product. For example, petroleum is the byproduct of crude oil. Words we use here is very, very important. Now take any topic, take any topic of your choice, and try to write or try to speak 5 sentences at least. For example, let's take, you're talking about tree. For example, tree, chettu, tree kosam. You don't know anything, no issues. You have an internet, you have a mobile gadget. Go to Google and type tree. Then go to Wikipedia. In that you have a lot of things about trees. What are trees? What are the types of trees? Write 5 sentences. Just see. After seeing the sentences, turn down the paper and start speaking. This is how you learn English. This is how you do it. By listening to the English, first most important, listening to the English, writing down the English and making it to sentences, knowing about the verb forms, more important. Okay? And in the next classes, we will learn about the words which people get confused, or how to take this into the next level. What are the next important things you have to do, practice. And the main motto of these sessions are, when you go for an interview, you should know what to speak. So today we have learnt about communication. What is communication all about? Okay. So what communication, what all we have? How can we improve our language? Okay. How to make sentences when we speak. When we write, the structure is different. When we speak, it is different. In my opinion, I want to say this. In my opinion, spoken form and written form are different actually. You cannot use, suppose you are writing an essay. You cannot say, what I want to say is, that we use it generally when you speak. What I want to say. In a little formal manner, we use it, in my opinion. Okay. Or you say, in a spoken form, for example, I agree with you. Okay. Or if you don't agree, we use a word called I disagree with you. You can still use the word I disagree with you, but you can still use a better sentence by saying, I have a different opinion on this. I have a different opinion on this. When you say I disagree with you, the person, it might hurt that person. Let's use a better word. I have a different opinion on this. Or you agree half you agree, half you don't. You say I partially agree with what you have said. We should know the sentences. What are the sentences we can use over here? That's more important, right? So I hope today you have learned something. I think today you would have understood how to improve your English and what is communication skills. So slowly, if you start practicing, okay, if you start working on this, well, definitely I think it will have a great impact on your language, and this will also help you to crack or clear your interviews. That's more important. What is the objective of these classes? Okay, to improve our English, to improve our communication skills, and to get a job. That's more important. Start for speaking English. So this art we will use for getting a job. How can we get a job? Okay. So in the later sessions, we will be discussing about how to introduce yourself, okay, or what we have to do, what is body language. We'll still go in detail. As is the first class. Okay, let's understand the basics. So today the basics. Today you would have understood how can you improve your English. What is the homework you have to do to improve your English? Why are words very important? Okay. So from this you will have a very clear and a better understanding how to do this. Right? So I hope the session was useful to you. I would like to thank you for spending your valuable time. Okay. My name is Raghuram, and thank you very much. All the best. Have a nice day. Thank you. कपड़े धोला क्यों ओह शिट अब क्या करना है क्या है ये क्या है अरे चला गया चला गया हाथ तो धोने का टाइम तो सबने बहुत अच्छा है बेटा तू बस थोड़ा ध्यान देना तो तू
वो पढ़ने में भी बहुत अच्छा है। बचपन तो कहाँ सबसे अच्छा पढ़ रहा है, सब लोग को लगता है कि दीदी कैसे इतना अच्छा पढ़ लेते हैं। गुड रजर, तो सॉल्व करके थोड़ी देर छोड़ देंगे तो लगता है कि उसका एयर अपने निकल जाएगा, तो फिर उसमें मालूम है, मैं बहुत देर से सॉल्व करके प्लग निकाल के रखी थी। अंदर धूप 10 मिनट पानी है, उसको उतने में पानी ना हमको धोना पड़ेगा और को दूसरा चीज यूज करनी पड़ेगी। और आप सुबह भी फ्रेश दबा के आके पूरा एक बार में पानी बना दीजिए।